Welcome. If you're a hybrid athlete trying to improve your strength and endurance simultaneously, whether you're in the military or a civilian, you've come to the right place. I'm Coach Dave, former Green Beret, now strength and conditioning coach for the last 5 years. Today, I'm 11 days out from my marathon, and I'm gonna walk you through my last lower body strength training session. Well, this morning, I did a high intensity session, kind of some moderate intensity tempo work, and today I'm consolidating the stress on my legs so that I can take some easy days before my last longer run this weekend. So I'm in my taper phase, and it becomes much more specific. I'm not trying to gain strength anymore. I'm trying to do some exercises that are gonna just translate out to my run instead of just strength in the weight room. So that means a lot more rotational stuff, a lot more lateral stuff, a lot more core at the end of the day. Exercises where I'm limited by my core strength. So let's walk you through it. We're gonna start with a short warm up. We're just starting out, trying to warm up the hips. 90-90s are some of the best exercises. You can do them a whole bunch of different ways to just prepare your hips for some lunges or some squatting or deadlifts. We also need to make sure our glutes are warmed up and fired because we sit on them all day and they go to sleep. Single leg glute bridge is one of my favorites. Just squeezing the glute all the way up. So the first block of the actual workout is called a Wenning warm-up, which is really just starting your workout with circuit training. So combining multiple exercises and just doing it in rounds, taking minimal rest. Normally, I push it like darn near close to failure on each exercise. Not quite such failure where I can't just keep moving, but I'm pushing the intensity. However, in this last taper block, I'm going lighter. I'm not even going anywhere close to failure. I'm just trying to get everything moving with these exercises. So we got 4 exercises. The first one is my favorite of all hamstring curl exercises, the med ball hamstring curl. But I have a glute ham roller. Check it out. So this glute ham roller is really just like a furniture cart with 4 wheels and a little dip where I can place my heel. And I'm gonna be on my back like so, and it's gonna allow me to use my glute and my hamstrings at the same time. This late in the game, I'm doing single leg, just body weight only. Normally I'll place a weight on my hips. So that one's great because you're using your hamstring at the same time as you're extending your hip in a very similar way to running. Next, we got the squat jump because I'm not loading it up anymore. In my last block where I was still trying to gain a little bit of strength and peak, I did the back squat. Now, we're just doing body weight squat jumps to keep the movement in the program, but just go light because we're gonna replace the back squat main strength movement with something else, so keep watching. So we gotta keep the plyometrics in there in the form of pogo jumps. I'm gonna be moving forward and just going diagonal side to side. This one is great to build just spring tension in the ankle for speed. Last exercise of this first warm-up block is lateral lunges, alternating sides. Again, going light, high reps, just trying to get the hips warmed up now and the sides of our hips with the lateral lunge. All right, I'm gonna keep this workout movement. I'm gonna go through all those 4 exercises for just only 1 more round because we're really cutting out volume right now. And then we're gonna get into the main strength block. Here is now the meat of the workout. I'm gonna be using the safety squat bar, right? It's got handles and you can put it on your back and you don't even have to hold on to the bar with your hands because I'm gonna be doing a floating heel split squat. Split squat's similar to a lunge, you just keep both of your feet planted and they don't move. So a squat is really just a single leg lunge or a split squat. It uses the same two big muscle groups, the quads and the glutes. I'm most interested in the glutes. Floating heel means the front heel is off of the ground the entire time. I'm gonna be holding on to the rack. So, no hands. I'm gonna be holding on to the rack the entire time so that when I have that front heel off of the ground, I still can maintain my balance. So from a nice split stance, that back leg nice and loose, back knee bent, we're gonna sink our hips down. Again, that front heel is completely off of the ground the entire time, and we're gonna drive the hips up and forward. I'm gonna warm up. So I'm gonna work up to just a moderate weight, a weight I could do for at least 4 to 5 more reps before I was at failure. And I'm just doing sets of 5 with 3 other exercises spliced in. Some depth jump with hurdle hops, so some more plyometrics, a little bit more intense. These are more advanced, so if you have not been doing plyometrics, don't try this one. This is at the very end of a long-term program that's similar to my hybrid runner strength program, just tailored a little bit for me. But check it out in the store if you haven't already. Also gonna have some toe raises to strengthen the shins and some side bends to decompress my spine and just work the obliques. These other 3 exercises aren't gonna take away from my main strength lift. They're just gonna add in some active recovery and allow me to keep moving in between my main strength lift. So that when I come back around, you know, I've gotten a lot of good work in, but I'm still good for that strength lift. So this is the side bend that I was talking about. The band or the cable is over your head, therefore it's gonna decompress your spine at the same time. This is lateral flexion, so I'm just bending my spine to the right and left, putting that weight in my cargo pocket, then equally bending the other way. So it allows to work my obliques at the same time I'm decompressing my spine. This is very good for your vertebrae, all right? They're like sponges. They absorb nutrients when you move them. And if all you ever do is block and brace your spine when you're under some compression, your spine gets afraid to move, and then that's when it'll lock up the next day and you'll have a back spasm. You didn't hurt your vertebrae or anything, or you didn't slip a disc. Your spine just is afraid to move. So splicing in these decompressive core exercises, same day as your heavy lift, is a game changer. I'll show you another 2 exercises later in the workout. So the reason that I love this floating heel split squat so much is that you can really overload it. You're not inhibited by your balance, falling over to the side. Your arms are supporting you, but you're not pulling yourself up with your arms. And you should be landing on your midfoot. Heel striking, I'm not a fan of. All right, and that's a huge debate, I know. It's just much more natural, and you're gonna be able to do this in the long run a little bit better, avoid a lot of knee injuries if you land on your midfoot. And that floating heel is just gonna strengthen your ankle so much and carry over into running so much more. The back squat, while it's great, it's not gonna translate into movement outside of the weight room as well. Still a great movement to just gain some absolute strength, but I definitely swap it out for this split squat this close to the marathon so that I can feel good when I'm moving. So I kept it even lighter on the split squat than I said. I just kept it at 135. Honestly, it felt so good. I could have done like 15, 20 reps. But I'm not trying to win any PRs in the gym today. I'm just trying to feel really good before this marathon. And I pushed it harder in my training than I ever have in the past with more high intensity. So I'm on the struggle bus going through this taper. So this is really just to prime my legs to be able to move better outside of the weight room. Now we got the Successories. So I'm not forgetting the hip hinge or my deadlift. It's just gonna be a lot lighter in the form of a single leg RDL with only 1 dumbbell in the opposite hand of whatever my leg is forward. This is really gonna help prime my posterior chain and connect it diagonally to the weight on the other side of my body. Now we're gonna continue to decompress our spine with one of my favorites. I've been doing this once a week for probably 2 years now. the hanging 3-way knee raise. You're hanging from a pull-up bar, so it's decompressing your spine. Ooh, those will get the core fired up. I push the intensity on those because you can really push it hard on core and not overdo it. So we can't forget about the calves. Very important muscle for a runner. Takes a lot of impact. We're gonna do single leg calf raises from a straight knee and also a bent knee because it targets different muscles with the bent knee. Last exercise, the reverse hyperextension. I don't have a reverse hyperextension, so I do it on a GHD rig, but this is a great exercise to remind my spine that it is safe to move and flex and round my lower back while it's being decompressed at the same time. You know, rightly so, you just kind of locked in your whole trunk, and you prevented it from rounding when you were under load and you were being compressed. But now you have to remind your spine that it's safe to move so that it doesn't lock up the next day. So that's a wrap on my last lower body strength session before a marathon. So I hope you learned something about what functional fitness actually means, you know, how we can use movements inside of the weight room to translate better outside of the weight room. And you know what, I'm not gonna be pushing anything remotely close to strength between now and my marathon. I'm going full on recovery. I am gonna still keep in some plyometrics, keep my speed going, really just trying to prime my legs and my central nervous system for speed on the marathon. But right now, my #1 focus is recovery. All the gains have been made. You know, it's my job just to not go in overtrained for this marathon because I pushed it harder than I ever have. So I'm focused on recovery more than ever before. And you know what? After the marathon, I'm really gonna be able to just delve deeply into strength training again when I go into another base building phase and just focus on lots of low intensity. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, keep following along, and I'll just teach you as much as I can.